WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where, boy, we have a lot of pay-per-views to talk about. It is Lost in the Midcard. Welcome. Happy Labor Day to everybody. The end of the vacation for both Matt and I. We were on vacation from both of our jobs for an extended amount of time. We got to both go to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys had a great Labor Day. Hopefully we can extend that greatness of Labor Day here on Lost in the Midcard. We will lead you up to Monday Night Raw tonight. If you have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Search WrestleZone, one word, and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. That way, you know every time WrestleZone goes live. We go live every Monday night, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, leading you up to that Monday Night Raw. Programming note, we will not be here next week. I'm going to be out of state. Won't be back until Tuesday night, so we will not have Lost in the Midcard next week, but we will be back. We'll give our quick thoughts on All Out. We are going to give you our predictions on All Out here later today, as well as talk about the two WWE pay-per-views that happened this weekend. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. As always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
Doing all right. I had a good weekend of pro wrestling. Looks like we're gonna have another good weekend of pro wrestling coming up. It's a great time to be a fan, man.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on right now. And October ain't going to be short either. NXT announced Halloween Havoc is going to have its own PLE this year. It's going to be on Peacock at the end of October. Bad Blood is coming up as well. We highly anticipate a Hell in a Cell match between Drew and CM Punk, which will be pretty badass. And then, you know, there's a lot rolling. I don't know. I'm assuming AEW is probably going to give us a pay-per-view as well, don't you think?
When?
I don't know. In October, is there one planned? Or are they not doing
Wrestle Dream?
Oh, that's in October. Was that December last year?
No, that's World's End.
Okay. All right.
It goes Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, World's End.
Okay. Got it. But in Wrestle Dream, do you think that's where Brian loses the title then, or what are your feelings on Brian so far? Of course, with what he talked about on Dynamite and everything.
I don't know. I honestly, this is just me speculating because, you know, Danielson has stated in past interviews that he loves to lie, and Cody Rhodes taught him how fun lying is.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that his neck isn't nearly as bad as he's leading people on to believe, because if it was, I don't think he'd be wrestling. I don't think AEW would allow him to put himself at that type of risk by going in there and working if his neck was as bad as, you know, he claims it to be. So I think this reign can go as long as he wants it to. Wrestle Dream to me makes sense just because it's in Washington, and if he can end his full-time career, you know, in his home state, essentially, I think that would be pretty cool. And it's not like we're never going to see him again. The man's going to be back.
Yeah.
You know, but he's gonna take some time off for a while, and, you know, honestly, well deserved. And I'm really happy for him that he's going to be able to go out on his terms.
Yeah, absolutely. What were your thoughts on the beginning of Dynamite on Wednesday? Jon Moxley interrupting proceedings and saying it's not Tony's company anymore, even though it was never Tony Schiavone's company. But what were your thoughts on Moxley preparing the world possibly for a big heel faction to rule AEW?
Well, I don't think Mox was speaking directly to Tony in terms of he was just delivering Tony a message.
Yeah.
And he knows that whoever he was talking to was listening to his warning. I don't think Mox was directly telling Tony Schiavone it's not your company anymore. I think, you know, don't shoot the messenger type of deal. He was just informing Tony that message was for somebody entirely different, and I'm sure we'll figure that out, in the weeks ahead. Like Moxley said before, he said this isn't going to make any sense right now,
Right.
and that was the whole idea, and it got people talking, and that's part of the beauty of pro wrestling. When you can get people talking and guessing and trying to figure out what's going on, that's what brings the people back every week after week to find out what happens next. So I think it's great. It's not nice to have Mox back, and I feel like he might be going to war with BCC sooner rather than later.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, including the fact of what is happening with him and the BCC. Why is he going to war with him? Why would he go to war? What is his reasonings? There's a lot of things going on. Obviously, with Brian probably stepping away in the next few months, if not sooner. Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler are now trios champions. It kind of feels like Moxley is the man on the outside, and so maybe that's why Moxley is deciding to start a war. With who? With whom? Who knows? Marina Shafir obviously involved, possibly. Josh Barnett.
Definitely involved.
Yeah, Josh Barnett. Highly likely is a good guess to be involved. Especially with the connection.
I would love if John Moxley is part of the Hurt Syndicate.
Hmm.
And this was the beginning of the eventual arrival of MVP and Bobby Lashley.
Man,
I'm not saying that's the direction that they're going in, but I think that would work very well. Lashley and MVP are no stranger to, the blood sport type of faction that Moxley would love to run.
Yep.
And if he's the harbinger of doom, and he's bringing the message before the big bad arrives, and that's like Lashley and MVP. Who knows? It could happen. Like, I'm not rolling anything out. I think it's exciting that we don't know right now.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to see what happens on Dynamite before we get all out this weekend.
It is wild. Thanks for everybody joining us in the chat. Cheryl Ozzy, MK, Mark Cho, and Lord Risky, and Haseen, and Sefet. Thank you guys all for joining us. Appreciate you seeing the show here and joining in the chat. And anybody else, feel free to chat in, ask us any questions, make your comments, and all that fun stuff. We're going to kick off with our lead story today, and that was across the pond in Berlin, Germany. Home to over 3 million people, Berlin was the home to Saturday's PLE Bash in Berlin. There's your champ right there, Mr. Gunther. We had 5 matches on the card, as expected, as nothing else was going to be added. Again, we have a 2-hour pre-show, Matt. Why do we have a 2-hour pre-show with no action?
I honestly think that's my biggest issue with the WWE PLE product right now, is they're running 2 or 3 hour pre-shows with nothing. There's nothing there that's worth your time. They do like 2 sit-down interviews, and they sprinkle them in throughout the course of the entire sit-down thing. Like, I wanted to check out those sit-down interviews on Saturday. So what I did is I just loaded up YouTube, and I scrolled through the little bar so I could find out where the interviews were. And I stopped it and I watched it, and I scrolled to the other interview, and I stopped it and I watched it. And that took up a whole, 10 minutes total.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, you ain't getting me to sit here for 2 hours for a pre-show with no freaking wrestling action on it. That's not happening. It's not going to happen.
Especially when your show is about 3 hours or so. I think, I don't know how long Bash in Berlin was off the top of my head, but
yeah, it's almost around 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, your pre-show is almost as long as your main show, and if there needs to be some matches, get some more people on the card.
They run the post-show / media scrum right after the show. Like, it doesn't stop. It literally just transitions right into that. So essentially, you could consider that a continuation of the pay-per-view itself. And that media scrums, I think, is anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half long. So you don't really need a 2-hour pre-show. It's just not necessary.
No, I don't know where they started. I mean, big shows, yeah, but at the same time, you still need to get a match or 2 in there, man.
Yeah, but now in the big shows, the pre-show's 3 hours with no matches. Do 1 hour for your basic 8, and do 2 hours for your big 4.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, we don't need a 2-hour pre-show for Bash in Berlin, guys.
No.
It's ridiculous. I don't get it at all.
We kick things off in Berlin right away with a World Championship match. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship. Obviously, the story here, can Kevin pull the trigger? He knew in SmackDown going in, Cody having a bum knee. We saw that play out in the match. He actually attacked the knee, almost went for that famous power bomb on the apron, but could not pull the trigger. He even heard Wade Barrett criticize him, and he turned around and told him to shut up. But
Probably
it still wasn't good enough.
That's probably my favorite part of the match.
The energy, obviously, I don't think it was as loud as France, but the energy that the German crowd brought was still great. And they were here throughout this whole match. A very good match, as expected, between Cody and KO, going about 23 minutes. And the interesting thing is, multiple times Michael Cole mentioning how long it's been since Owens has been a singles champion in WWE and how long he has been a world champion. It's been 7 years since he's held a singles title. It's been 8 years since he's been a world champion. I don't know if that's foreshadowing to a heel turn and a rematch coming up. I don't know. But what were your thoughts on the opening match here, Matt?
Well, I mean, the elephant in the room is Kevin Owens' contract's up at the end of the year. So to me, it would not be surprising if they want to flip him heel and run out the rest of his deal as a bad guy to try to take away a bit of his popularity. If he jumps, which I'm kind of thinking he's going to.
He's been there a long time.
They haven't done much with him.
No, it's amazing when Michael Cole said that at the beginning of the show. I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous in a way, with as much as he's worked for that company. He was immediately on top when he got out of NXT and then nothing. And I mean, he was NXT. I mean, Triple H brought him in. He was part of that famed group of indie guys, Pac, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, and I'm probably forgetting somebody else besides KO. I thought there was 5 guys.
Samoa Joe.
Well, he wasn't in that group. There was this famous photo. Kenta.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there was 5 guys.
Was it Kenta or was it Pac?
Both were in it, I think. It was 5 guys. Yeah, Kenta,
Okay.
Pac, Finn, Sammy, and KO.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe was a hair later. Oh boy, I remember that stare down Joe and KO at the end of that takeover one. That one takeover, man, that was so good. But yeah, it's amazing because Triple H is in control now. You'd think that he would put a world title on Kevin Owens at some point, but at the same time, it's like, you only have 2 world titles. It's only been so long that Triple H has been in control. I think it's a matter of, can Triple H convince KO to, that he will put it on him if he resigns? I don't know. But so you think he's going to AEW then, huh?
I'm of the belief that if CM Punk wouldn't have been in AEW 3 years ago, he'd already be there.
Oh, so he doesn't like Punk.
He does not like Punk. And I honestly believe that was one of the main reasons he decided to stay at that point, is he didn't want to go into a locker room with Punk.
Yeah.
So now the Punk's over there, even though they're not on, the same brand. I would not be I would not be surprised to see him jump.
Yeah, they're saying they're in the same locker room once a month though. So, yeah, it's weird, but if that's the case, hey, there's a bonus out of that, man. We get the return of Kill Steen Kill, right? That is going to be the bonus of things, and I have never had a Kevin Steen shirt before when he was in Ring of Honor. I do have this DVD. I think it's called Thanks Steen Thanks, his last DVD with Ring of Honor. But that'd be kind of the bonus of getting Kevin Steen back, and then we're going to probably get the real Kevin Steen at that point, don't you think?
I think he would be tremendous over there. I mean, I think he'll do fine in WWE if he sticks around. But I mean, I think he'd have a renewed energy in AEW. I think they would put a lot of focus on him, and I think he would be an absolute 100% lock to win the Owen Hart Cup.
Yeah.
In 2025. And if that's still granting the world title shot at All In, all the better for him. So I feel like if he goes over there, he's a lock to win the Owen, and that could technically put him in the main event of All In.
Yeah.
So I think if for nothing else, he needs to do the smart thing and let his contract expire.
Yeah.
Even if he believes that he's staying with WWE, like in his heart and in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna stay here. Let your deal expire. Talk to AEW. Get the deal. Take the deal to WWE. Make them pay you more, and then stay.
Yeah.
The wrestlers nowadays, to me, need to be smarter about all of this. If your deal's coming up and you believe that there's interest from the other side, let your deal expire and play the two companies against each other. Because at the end of the day, that means you win. And to me, it's just a no-brainer. I think Drew McIntyre screwed up by signing his new deal before letting it expire and speaking with AEW.
Yeah.
I feel Drew could have gotten a lot more money than he did had he played the two sides against each other, and I think Kevin would be insane not to do that at the end of the year.
I mean, technically, Becky Lynch is not signed, right?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows if she's had talks with AEW? I would imagine that they've reached out. But
legally can now.
Yeah, but I mean, if Becky is dead set on going back to WWE, she can use whatever. If AEW made an offer, she could use that in her negotiations with WWE to get a better deal.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the match, Kevin Owens raising Cody's hand, no heel turn. A lot of people expected it there. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't really need Kevin to turn heel. It's happened enough. He's turned on about everybody at this point. I guess he hasn't turned on Cody, so maybe that's the motivation behind it, is he hasn't turned on him. But I don't know. I don't think we need it. We don't need a turn, do we?
Well, I think a lot of people were of the belief that KO was the what's the right word? Blanket on the word I want to use. He was the damn it. Owens was help me well with the word with this. WWE wanted people to believe that Kevin Owens was going to be the one that was going to turn on Cody, but it's going to be Randy Orton instead.
Yeah.
So what is Kevin Owens then? Why am I blanking on this word?
Red herring?
Yes, a red herring. Thank you. I think yes, I think they put KO in that position so everybody was paying attention to him. So there's more of a surprise when Orton's the one that actually turns.
Yeah, and I don't know if we need Orton to turn either. I mean, he's having so much fun as a baby
God,
face,
I just want anybody but Solo, because Solo's walking around as a man who hasn't done jack shit since losing his title shot at SummerSlam, saying he has next.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, no, you don't. Go get a fucking win, Solo. You haven't done shit.
Oh, boy.
You know, I don't want to see Solo and Cody again unless you do something to give that man a couple wins. Let him win a number one contender 4-way or something. For the love of God, make the man earn another title shot when he lost fair and square at SummerSlam in a match type that he asked for.
Yeah. It's weird that they would tease him saying he's next when he hasn't done anything to be next. But anyways, next up, the Tag Team Championships on the line with Alba Fire Islandon against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. What were your thoughts on that match? That's probably about the least exciting, or at least exciting match to look forward to on the card, I think.
Like I called it last week. I was like, this was the match that they booked so they could have a title change on the show.
Yeah.
And Team Leprechaun won the women's titles back.
Yeah.
So good for Team Leprechaun. Whatever. When it was so predictable going in, and I still feel like they're just dragging this out so they can do Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania. I'm not interested, right? I'm not interested in the women's tag division in WWE. They have a lot of work to do to make me care. And there's not one women's tag team in WWE right now that I go, oh yeah, I really love them, because it was the Kabuki Warriors, but Asuka's out now.
Yeah.
And Io Sky and Io sure I just Io Sky and
Dakota Kai.
no, Dakota Kai's out now because she's injured. It's Io Sky and who's the other one in Damage Control? Why my brain is on fried today? Who's the other one in Damage Control? Carrie Sane.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't do it for me as much as Carrie and Asuka did. I liked them.
Yeah.
I liked them together as a tag team. I don't know. Like I don't know what they need to do to get some interest back in that division for me personally, because I know there's some people that really like what they're doing right now, but to me it's very boring.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got to quit putting teams together willy nilly. You know, if you could build a tag team, I mean, what did just look back at the history of the men's tag division, go back to the 80s and the 90s, and look at how they were built. Rock and Roll Express, the Rockers, Demolition. Teams were built together. They stayed together for a long time and established themselves. WWE can do it at times in the men's division, but you do not hardly ever see it in the women's division at all. Toxic Attraction was probably one of the most cohesive units, and they were in NXT. But at the time, they had those tag titles split.
Toxic Attraction was a fantastic group.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've gotten anything close to that since Mandy was released.
No. And like the things they're doing with JC and Fallon Henley are pretty good. Jasmine Nick's part of that group as well. I think it's a good start there.
Yeah, they're like the fatal influence or something like that. Yeah.
And then what is the then Sonya's group? What is that called again?
Pure Fusion Collective.
Yeah, weird
or something like that.
Weird names.
It's something along that line. I think it's Pure Fusion Collective or Pure Fusion Collection or something like that.
But they need to have teams that have story that have been together for a while.
I mean, they put the titles on Dawn and Fire, and they didn't do anything with them.
No, that too.
Like to me, like they gave them the titles a few months ago just to have a title change on that show.
Yeah.
Like WWE doesn't care about the women's tag team division, and it shows with the way that they treat the teams. It's very disappointing. There's a lot more that can be done with this. Like it reminds me of a Bayley interview from, I believe it was from last month prior to SummerSlam, and someone was asking her about the possibility of secondary singles titles for the women's division on the main roster since NXT has one, and Bayley was pretty blunt and like, we need to get the women's tag team division on track before we think about adding another title. And if you look at the state of the women's tag team division in WWE right now, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, let's make those titles mean something, and once they do, then yes, by all means, add a secondary women's title on the main roster. But one thing at a time.
Yeah. Next up, the big strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, one of the best feuds in pro wrestling going on today. This strap match had the stipulation where you had to touch all four corners uninterrupted in order to win your match. And I thought, the feud's been very good. I thought this was a pretty good strap match. Maybe some of the excitement gone out of it because you knew Punk was going to win. You know that there's going to be that rubber match at Bad Blood. Probably going to be Hell in a Cell because that's where Hell in a Cell was born, was the original Bad Blood in 1997. So we all kind of knew that going in, but I still think these guys delivered a good match. What did you? Oh, and Mark Cho, yes. Punk kissing the bracelet that was in the shorts of Drew McIntyre is kind of gross, but
yeah, I'm not going to put that on the screen.
What were your thoughts on the strap match?
That's a little graphic.
A little bit.
I went in I told everybody this last week, and I've said it on social media multiple times. I hate the 4-corner strap match stipulation.
Yeah.
Hate it. This match, when they weren't focused on going for the 4 turnbuckles, was great.
Mm-hmm.
Way better than their match at SummerSlam. A lot of intensity, a lot of good, brawling and and fighting it out. I really liked the match when it was just a regular strap match. But when the 4 corners got involved, completely took me out of it, and I just didn't care for it.
I thought it was kind of funny when Drew was carrying Punk on his shoulders though, and hit the turnbuckle, and then Punk, while on his shoulders, would hit the turnbuckle too.
I hate that.
I thought that was kind of funny.
It's the most tired and overplayed finish in WWE strap match history.
But
and I honestly, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't use it, and they didn't go through with it. On Saturday.
Yeah, but it's still good. I mean, we all know this is going to end in Hell in a Cell, so I think at least for what it's worth, it was a good match as it was. We knew Punk was going to win, and the finale is going to be tremendous next month. Amazing though that was Punk's first win in WWE in 10.5 years.
Well, the rumors right now is they want to do Punk and Gunther at Survivor Series. So if that's the case, Punk's got to win Hell in a Cell too.
He's got to, yeah. He can't lose it. Yeah, he can't lose it. But it's been a great feud though, and it's going to continue into next month. So that's good. They showed a commercial for the Killers game starring Dave Bautista as well as Drew McIntyre in that movie that comes out in the theaters on the 13th. Also, a couple of announcements. Of course, it is network change season. Of course, SmackDown coming to USA on Friday the 13th, and then of course they did a commercial for the debut of NXT on broadcast television on the CW at the first of the month in October, I believe. Did they confirm CM Punk's going to be on that show, right?
Yeah, the first show's from Chicago. Punk will be on it. The following week they're in St. Louis, and Orton will be on that, and that's going to go head to head with the Tuesday Dynamite, the title Tuesday that they have to do every year because of the World Series.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I'm sure all the wrestling fans online will be extremely normal that week.
No tribalism at all, right?
What's tribalism? It doesn't exist.
No, it don't. Next up is the mixed tag match, the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley against the Judgment Day of Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. And what were your thoughts on this match here?
Loved it. Loved it. It was everything it needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Priest and Ripley together are magic, and I hope they don't split them up anytime soon. I like the Terror Twins gimmick, and obviously this is leading to Ripley getting another title shot, which should be inside Hell in a Cell with Liv at Bad Blood. I thought this match was perfect. That
was quite the visual of that pinfall, wasn't it?
Well, Rhea loves that pinfall,
and I do too. Pinning her clean obviously is going to set that up for a match there. Rhea getting her hands on Dom is always fun as well. Do you add, do we add to the Terror Twins at all? Do we have some people to kind of help them out?
Then it's the Terror Triplets, so probably not.
I'm assuming they're going to continue to feud with the Judgment Day, especially with the women's title match coming up next month. So maybe some people help them out temporarily.
We'll probably get the one-on-one match between Priest and Balor at Bad Blood as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad blood between them, so why not, right?
That's what I'm saying. It fits the event name.
Yeah,
I ain't doing any type of impressions right now. My throat is effed up.
Yeah, mine's so dry right now with allergies. It's insane.
Yeah, allergies are the worst.
Do the Terror Twins have a shirt on the?
Yes,
on shop?
They just recently released one.
Yeah, they're not splitting them up anytime soon. Then, yeah, because I noticed it said that on the tights of Priest. on Saturday that said Terror Twins, and I was wondering if a shirt was in the mix. Mark Cho saying that does the Demon return at Bad Blood? I would like to see it, but I'm not going to bet money on it.
WWE loves to use the Demon as a babyface. I don't think they've ever used the Demon as a heel before, but I mean that's what the Demon was really made for in Japan.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so because I think they want Priest to win, and I don't think they're gonna put Priest over the Demon character. I think when next time they bring that Demon character out, like they need to reestablish it, and it needs to get a dominant win.
Yeah.
When Balor breaks that out, so
yeah, they kind of ruined things with namely going against Wyatt, right?
They screwed up the Demon a couple times, unfortunately.
And, yeah. Not as invincible as he's supposed to be. They run down Raw, which we'll run down at the end of the show. End of the night.
Honestly, I promise you I don't need rum.
At the end of the night, main event time. And I liked Ludwig Kaiser sticking his hand out of nowhere there to reach for the microphone and introduce his good friend Gunther. I liked that. That was pretty cool. Great entrance. The crowd singing along to voices also, giving Gunther an ovation as well. And then of course all the chants that were given towards both wrestlers in the open and just watching Orton. That's why I don't want Orton to turn heel, man. He's just having so much fun.
I
with the crowd.
I agree.
Put it on. If you're not going to re-sign KO, just make him heel, like you said.
It's not that WWE doesn't want to re-sign him. Like it's to me, it's more about what Kevin wants to do. So
yeah, Daryl, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping in.
Okay, yeah. Daryl, I know what you're doing, and I don't appreciate that.
Hi guys.
No.
Is that what he's doing?
I guarantee you that's what he's doing. He thinks he's funny. You
think I'm a clown? You think I'm here to amuse you?
Son of a bitch.
35 minutes nearly between Gunther and Orton, beating the hell out of each other. What were your thoughts on that main event, Matt?
Great main event. I thought it was way better than their first match.
Yeah.
And a much more definitive win by choking Orton out instead of trying to pin him. So I loved the show of respect after.
Yes, that was cool.
Just good stuff.
Good shit, pal. Let's move on from Saturday night to this coming Saturday night. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, giving us a Saturday pay-per-view in Chicago with All Out. Right now, only 6 matches on the card. I expect you probably figure there's going to be more added, don't you think?
Y'all, we're getting more this week. Yeah. We're getting probably another 4 matches on the main show. You got a couple. You're going to get a couple on 0 Hour. Yeah, we've got some matches coming.
Thanks for the wishes there, Daryl. Appreciate you, man. We have right now 6 matches lined up on the card.
Appreciate it, Daryl.
We know this
guys.
We know this first one's going to be a banger. Will Ospreay versus Pac for the AEW International Championship. He just got it back. I don't think he's losing it, is he, Matt?
I wouldn't think so.
Pac's already got a title right now with the trios.
Yeah, I mean, Pac's held 2 of those 2 titles before at the same time, but I don't foresee him doing it this time. To me, Ospreay has to retain.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ospreay's going to retain, but this could be a show stealer, don't you think?
Oh, easily could steal the show. I mean, there's no question about that. But I can't see a world right now where Ospreay's dropping that title immediately.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to imagine at that point. Chicago Street Fight. Is this for the CMLL Championship?
Apparently not.
Okay, it's not on Wiki, so I was kind of wondering. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander with Stokely. Well, now there's no title on the line. I think the heels are going to get over on her.
Yep, exactly. As soon as they said the title, as soon as Willow said that CMLL didn't want their title on the line with this stipulation, I'm like, oh, so you're just saying that you're you're not allowed to lose the title to Chris. Okay. So yeah, Chris Statlander wins.
Okay. Steel cage match, another one of the great feuds of 2024. Man. Swerve Strickland, Hangman, Adam Page. I got to go with Hangman and his. I think Hangman's trajectory is going to go up towards another title shot eventually. So you got to put Hangman over in this one, in my opinion.
I feel this is the biggest coin toss.
Yeah.
On the entire show.
Yeah.
Because I could make a very convincing argument for both men as to why they need to win this match. And simply just because you went with Hangman, I'm going to go with Swerve. And I'm not confident on either of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you gave me a free bet to put money down on the winner for this weekend on this match, I don't know who I'd pick. I really, really don't. Like, this is... I might have a better idea after Dynamite on Wednesday, because sometimes I can read that kind of stuff on a go-home show and have a better idea. But, man, to me right now, this match is too close to call.
Yeah.
But, like I said, going with Swerve just because you went with Hangman.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Yeah. If you would have went with Swerve, I would have went with Hangman. Like, that's how close I am on... I'm very unsure of this match.
And MJF taking on Daniel Garcia in a grudge match. God, you got to think Daniel Garcia gets his revenge and wins, right?
Garcia needs the win of his career this Saturday night.
Yeah.
As long as he has put pen to paper with AEW and has signed a new long-term deal, Garcia needs to win.
Mercedes Moné against Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship. I don't see Shida being the one to dethrone Moné.
I really wish they didn't do this match a few weeks ago on Dynamite.
True, yeah.
When I saw the 4-way, I was like, all right, I'm going with Thunder Rosa because we already saw Shida and Moné a couple weeks ago on Dynamite, and it was a great match. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, great match. But pay-per-view, give me a new one. Give me a new one. Give me money and then Thunder, because I think they would tear the fucking house down together. But yeah, match is going to be great, but there's no way money loses.
No,
I don't understand this choice. I think this choice would have been so much better had they put money in the ring with anybody else a couple weeks ago other than Shida.
And then Bryan Danielson against Jack Perry for the AEW World Championship. Again, I don't see Jack being the one to dethrone Bryan so soon. Maybe down the line it would have, if this was like 6 months later, I may have changed my mind, but it's too soon yet. Bryan's going to win.
Yeah, to me, with Jack already holding the title, Darby having a title shot in a few weeks, to me, like, you can't double strap up Perry right now.
No,
I think Darby will get involved with this match at some point when the Elite try to cheat for Perry, and Darby will even the odds, and that will be how Bryan retains.
Any predictions on any leans on additions to matches?
Well, you think Mox is going to have a match. I would think anyway, and he hasn't wrestled in a while.
Mox and Darby? He said Darby specifically.
I mean, I don't know if we see Darby until All Out, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. They might be saving that. I think we're going to see FTR and Grizzled Young Veterans.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
On that show, I think that's going to be a match. I'm not quite sure who they're going to put the Bucks against. I feel like they have to be on the show, but God, if their only option is a rematch with the Acclaim, just leave them off.
Outlanders.
You mean the Outrunners
or the See, my point was made, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, TNT title won't be on the line. Trios titles won't be on the line. So you kind of think the Bucks should be defending their titles at All Out, but man, if the Acclaim's the only option, I'd rather you didn't.
Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny if the Motor City Machine Guns showed up?
If they do that this Wednesday, and they give us that match at All Out, I'm perfectly content. I would be very, very happy.
That'd be badass. Imagine those four teams.
You think Okada will be in action as well, but I don't they're not going to put him up against Private Party. So like
No.
I'm not sure who. Yeah, they could go back like the chat. They could go back to Claudio and Okada again since Pac's already in singles match. They could put Claudio in a singles match as well and
Yeah.
play off the time limit draw.
Yeah.
So that works for me. I like that idea.
That match wouldn't suck. So
Definitely not. It was great. Yeah, like and to me, like that match didn't have it finish. Money pinned Sheeta. But if they would have went to a time limit draw, I would have been all for Money and Sheeta at All Out. But
yeah.
that's not how things happened. So
yeah, and War Hero saying Bucks TMDK, that wouldn't be bad either.
I'd
I mean,
I'd almost be happy if Mark Davis was cleared and we didn't know about it and we got Young Bucks and Aussie Open at All Out.
Our other PLA of the week was on Sunday evening, live from Denver, Colorado, which is where Monday Night Raw is in about 8 minutes. NXT No Mercy. 6 matches on the card, 5 of them championship matches. As with many times on an NXT PLA takeover, whatever, Matt, I think they knocked it out of the park last night, in my opinion. I was excited with all the matches. I didn't have an issue with any of them.
I thought it was a good show. It didn't blow me away. I think Bash in Berlin was the better of the 2 events this weekend. But I thought it was a good show.
Yeah.
So, which is a big, leap over where we were with NXT a couple of years ago. So, as long as we can get an NXT PLE and it's a quality event overall, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we're ever going to get back to the era of banner after banner after banner with the takeovers. But as long as we can get good NXT PLEs, every time they're doing them, then I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan Frazier and Axiom get their belts back, defeating Chase U. Ridge Holland turning heel. I just don't know if they can figure out what they're doing with Ridge Holland right now.
I don't care what they're doing with Ridge Holland. I haven't cared about Ridge Holland in a very long time, and I still don't freaking care.
And then the split between Frazier and Axiom clearly not coming yet, even though you thought it might have been coming when one super kicked the other, which was maybe you thought that might have been a precursor, but in the end they get the titles, they hold them. God, is that their 3rd reign now, or is this their 2nd only?
2nd reign.
Okay.
Am I frozen?
You were. Now you're back. Your audio is always there, but your video is kind of grainy right now.
It might be running on the 1080p.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop it back down to 720 next week. We'll see how it goes.
The hamsters. Well, no, you were fine just until you were perfectly fine all show until about 3 minutes ago.
All right, I was going to say
it might be a connection on your end.
I didn't even know about it.
Nah, it might be a connection on your end. Your audio was always there, so that's all good.
Okay.
So they stretchered out Chase, Thea Hale crying, and Ridge Holland is a big bad guy again. The Civil War, the Rascal Civil War. Wesley, Zachary Wentz. Congrats, Zach Wentz, on Friday's TNA Resurgence pay-per-view, or Emergence, or what was it? Or I don't know. One of those two.
Yeah, Emergence.
Zach won the Ultimate X match with a couple of NXT guys in there. Hammerstone was in there as well. And he took the title from Speedball Mike Bailey. So congrats to Mr. Zachary Wentz on being a singles champion, I believe, for the first time.
Yeah, I think so. And it sucks that Speedball got a short reign, but I get what TNA was doing, and you have the opportunity to feature a talent on an NXT PLE in 48 hours, and he's going to win. Yeah. And you can have him come out with one of your championships.
You're right.
It's kind of just a smart play to go with. I get why they did it, and I don't have an issue with it. So
I don't know. I almost think it was up there for match of the night.
Yeah, to me, This was probably my match of the night.
Yeah. It got one of the few. I mean, the crowd didn't just give away "This is awesome" chance to every match. I don't even think they did in the main event, if I remember right. But they did for this match, and yeah, so I think this probably would have been the best match of the night. And look at this, TNA talent went over an NXT talent. How about that?
If I'm WWE, and I don't know if they're gonna do this, but if the Rascals are sticking around like they seem to be,
Have them win Tuesday.
I'm bringing in Myron Reed.
Oh yeah,
as the forgotten rascal.
Hey,
and I'm pairing him up with Wesley, and it costing the Rascals the NXT Tag Team titles.
Congrats to Myron Reed, by the way. Him and Killer Kelly expecting a baby now. So
that's very cool.
Yes, Kelly announced that on social today. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they do that. If not, I wouldn't mind seeing the Rascals win and take it on Axiom and Nathan Frazier either. So,
Steven, the only reason we didn't bring this up because honestly, we don't know. The whole Odyssey Jones thing is a big mystery right now.
Yeah,
we don't know why he was removed from the roster. We don't know why WWE won't respond to anybody's comments when they're reaching out to the company asking about his status. It's a very, very weird situation right now. But I'm assuming within the coming days we'll learn a lot more about what the heck's going on with Odyssey Jones.
Yep. Yeah, but it's an interesting situation for sure. Next up is the NXT North American Women's Championship. Kalani Jordan taking on Wendy Chu. Of course, you got Wendy Chu, of course, many years in the independent circuits. Kalani Jordan, a product of the Performance Center NIL deal and such. And I honestly, this match, I was very impressed with Kalani Jordan's hanging with a veteran like Wendy Chu. I thought this was a good match. I thought this was a very entertaining match. Jordan looked great. And I was 50-50 on this of Wendy dethroning Kalani, but I'm fine with Kalani beating Wendy here as well. But I thought this was a damn good match, Matt.
Match was fine. It was my least favorite thing on the show. Not saying it was bad, but like if I had to put a match at the bottom, it was this.
I thought Tony D'Angelo stood up to Oba Femi. I didn't realize Tony is about the same height.
Loved this match.
That was so good.
Loved this match. Tony D and Oba Femi crushed it.
Yeah, he did.
Great stuff.
I did not realize Tony was that big until he's just barely under Oba Femi, and he could throw Oba around too. And then the main event, Roxanne and Jada, great match. No surprise that Roxanne got the win there. And of course, Joe Hendry and Ethan Page with Trick Williams as the guest referee. Very good main event as well. Joe Hendry almost getting the championship, but not quite. And Ethan Page had to have his hand raised by Trick Williams to end the show. Well, Matt, that's going to do it. Yes,
Joe. Did you hear Trick Williams rap on Pete Dunne?
No, I need to see that.
Yeah, check his Twitter when we're done from there.
Okay, we'll do that.
It's very funny.
Welcome to WWE Joe Tessitore. Monday Night Raw.
Tonight,
Dick Wolf is on my TV right now. So for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We will see you in 2 weeks because we are off next week. Have a good one.
Enjoy Raw, people.